Over to the big political story of the day. After Shiromani Akali Dal MP Harsimrat Kaur Badal resigned from the Union Cabinet over the contentious Farm Bill, Prime Minister Narendra Modi tweeted hailing the bill, assuring farmers that minimum support price will not be discontinued. The Prime Minister said that some people are trying to mislead the farmers over government reforms. Prime Minister Modi said this after Harsimrat decided to side with the agitating farmers and submitted a resignation from the Union Cabinet. She called the bill anti-farmer. The SAD was one of the oldest allies of the NDA. Speaking to India Today, you also had the Shiromani Akali Dal President Sukhbir Singh Badal saying that the decision to stay or not in the alliance will be taken after consulting party members. Meanwhile, the President has accepted Harsimrat's resignation as advised by the Prime Minister. The fault line between NDA emerges at a time when the Modi government is not only facing flack from the opposition, but also farmers. Thousands of farmers have been out on the streets for days against these bills, which will now be introduced in the Rajya Sabha.
I think I owed it to the farmers of India and especially to the farmers of my state, who for the last many weeks, despite the scare of COVID, have been out on the street, sitting on dharnas, be it old women, old men, young children, to have their voice heard by the central government about the apprehensions against these ordinances, which they feel is going to ruin their future and the future of their children. My party decided that we were going to oppose these ordinances because they had not complied and fulfilled the apprehensions that the farmers were facing. And as a member of the government, because they had brute majority and numbers, so it was going to get passed, I did not want to be a part of that government which would shove this down the throats of my farmers, who felt that with this legislation today, their future has been ruined for good.
First, this ordinance was brought into the cabinet 2 months back. Before that, when all the planning was going on, we were never asked. We were told now only by the minister that they had formed a 7 Chief Ministers Committee, where 1 or 2 Chief Ministers were of Congress, Captain Amarinder Singh and Kamal Nath. So they recommended, but when we didn't know about it. When it came on the table item on the cabinet, my wife got to know it. She's a union minister. She objected that time. I just want to say, Shiromani Akali Dal is a founder member of NDA.
That was earlier. Now what is the status?
Our party will be meeting shortly.
ये दोनों विधेयक किसान के जीवन में क्रांतिकारी बदलाव लाने वाले हैं। देश तो 1947 को आज़ाद हुआ, लेकिन किसान मंडी की जंजीरों में बंधा हुआ था। प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी के नेतृत्व में इन विधेयकों के माध्यम से उसको आज़ादी मिली है।
आपकी पार्टी के मंत्री जी और इस्तीफा देने के लिए खड़ा है। I would appreciate the sentiment and the emotion of Madam Harsimrat Kaur, who had displayed her guts and gumption by opposing this draconian legislation. Yes, ये क्या है? आपका जो 3 ordinances है, ये 3 ordinances toxic triangle है. It is nothing but a toxic triangle.
जो 25 सितंबर को पंजाब बंद का आह्वान आया है, हमारे बड़े भाइयों ने इसका आह्वान किया, किसान यूनियंस ने, हम उसका पूरा समर्थन करेंगे। अपने तौर पर पंजाब के वासियों को, किसानों को, मजदूरों को, दुकानदारों को, सबको इसमें शामिल होने का आह्वान करेंगे और आस करेंगे भी पंजाब के लोग इस बंद को पूरा समर्थन देंगे। फिर जब तक ये खेती ऑर्डिनेंस रद्द नहीं किए जा रहे हैं, तब तक हमारा आंदोलन तेज से तेज चलता रहेगा।
Taha is joining us with more details on this. Polami, good morning. You had a conversation last night with Harsimrat Kaur Badal. Prime Minister Modi has now reacted to all this criticism over this bill, saying that there's no question of touching the minimum support price. He has said that, but farmers are still out on the streets. Even allies of the BJP seem to say that these bills are anti-farmer.
That's right. Good morning, Akshita. The fact is that, the battle lines have been drawn, and Harsimrat Kaur Badal, of course, walked out of the Union Cabinet. The Union Cabinet and the Prime Minister himself has made no, bones about the fact that this is a legislation, he says, which is in the interest of the farmers, and has spent and wasted no time in, of course, accepting her resignation. He has advised the Rashtrapati to accept the resignation, and hence the resignation stands accepted early this morning. And Narendra Singh Tomar, the Agriculture Minister of the Union of India, now has been given charge of the Food Processing Industries Ministry as well. Now, the BJP has categorically stated that as far as MSP is concerned, MSP hai, MSP tha, MSP rahega. There is no question of touching the MSP. Now, what Harsimrat Kaur Badal said to that, when I asked her that question about those assurances, she said these are verbal assurances. None of that is written into these ordinances, which now, of course, have turned into bills passed by the Lok Sabha, awaiting passage by the Rajya Sabha. So those verbal assurances don't count for much. Ultimately, I had to go back and face the farmers of Punjab and Haryana. And that is where my conscience kicked in. And I had to put down my resignation because I cannot stand with something which is anti-farmer. So that is how the things panned out as far as this entire drama which broke out yesterday in the Lok Sabha is concerned, Akshita.
Okay, Paulami, thank you for getting us all the updates on that story.
Hello everyone, this is Rahul Kamal here. Hope you enjoyed this video. For the latest news and analysis, like and subscribe the India Today YouTube channel, and don't forget to press the bell icon to stay updated.